that the both of us did watch.
This is the only new TV I want to talk about.
What's that? Bad Batch? You Bad Batch?
That's where all my kids came from. Oh no, wait, yes, yeah.
Exactly.
I'd love to. I want to hear your thoughts first because you were one of those people that were in on Bad Batch from the beginning.
Yes,
and I admittedly was not. I barely watched most of those Star Wars animated stuff. I did get into Star Wars Rebels and like went deep.
Yep.
And watched the whole fucking thing. Clone Wars and stuff, I was like, I watched some of it here and there. I watched some of those ones like you said. I did what you said where it's like, they got that thing where it's like, just watch these.
Yeah, there's like an essential episodes that you can watch.
So I was on the hype train for Bad Batch 2 because I just watched the first one because I started watching the first one because the trailer for the second one came out and I was like, you know what? I've got to binge it and watched all, 16 episodes?
Yeah, and they're quick. They're half-hour ones. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And I loved it. But... And I don't know if that affects my opinion of season 2.
Okay.
So I'm going to hold back on what I have to say because I want to hear what you have to say about season 2 so far.
As far as season 2, the first 2 episodes, I do still enjoy it. I am into it. I like that Omega's a little bit older now. She's not as like in the first season, you're just like, oh, shut the fuck up. And it's like, we talked a lot about with the Star Wars stuff, every single thing seems to be like Lone Wolf and Cub, where it's you know, and that's pretty much what Bad Batch is, and what I like about it is, and some people don't like it, is that it's more of like just adventure of the week.
Yes.
Like,
I love that.
They go in, they see Rhea Perlman, who plays that.
Here's I got a job for you. I'm gonna take this
And then they
I had to tell my kids, like, that's Danny DeVito's wife, right?
Yeah.
They're like, wait, what? I was like, oh, yeah.
So they go in, they're like,
Here's your job for you. You gotta go over here. And then
And now you got Wanda Sykes.
Yeah. So they got that going. And, so it's, I'm glad that they put the first 2 episodes out because they kind of tied in a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, what's refreshing about the Bad Batch is because some people criticize it as, it's just a fucking adventure of the week. Yeah. I don't need everything to be connected. And so they put Easter eggs and.
But they do have an A plot, B plot.
They do. But
that's one of the things I wrote down.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's more of like, yeah. I mean, it's just that, and that's kind of how Rebels was too.
Yeah.
It was very like, here, okay, we got to do this mission to do here, and then that. It's very video game-ish, like just like, get the loot chest, get it out of here, and then we'll pay this, and it's, and there's a little bit of connectivity. Like they went to Dooku's freaking old palace,
which is cool.
They're like, Dooku, so it's got a little bit of that, and
spoils of war.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. It's not, I'm not like, oh my god, it's not Andor level great, but it's like. I like it. I'm looking forward to watching the rest of it. I like
absolutely.
The characters, yeah. And who doesn't love a good, And I'm glad that they kind of aged Omega up a little bit.
Yeah.
She still was kind of like, like, and that was another thing about the first season.
Read my last line.
Omega's still a bit annoying. Yeah, she is.
She's not as annoying, but she's still a bit annoying.
Yeah, she got that sweet ass Katniss Everdeen like laser freaking lightsaber thing, which is pretty cool.
Laser bow and arrow.
Yeah. So I like that you don't have to get too involved, but they put little things in there like I think it was in the trailer that we talked about, like Wookiee with lightsaber.
Yeah,
like Palpatine is supposed to show up in this, so it's still got ties to the lore, but you don't have to feel like I have to like, and that was one of the daunting things because I did get into the animated stuff late, like Rebels and Clone Wars and stuff, where it was like, once again for COVID, thank God for that. I was like, bad, freaking Clone Wars, I'll watch this,
binge it.
I got nothing else to do. So yeah. So I'm excited about that. So you did enjoy it as well, like you kept on the train of it.
So season 2, episodes 1 and 2, it's okay so far, but I do like that they're finally giving characters like Tech and Echo a little bit more to do.
Yes, yeah, and I do.
I don't know if that's going to continue.
Well, there is kind of, I think is it Echo that is starting to talk about like, hey man, like we're trying. Basically, all these missions that they're doing is to basically get their debt off paid. You
yes.
know?
And that's my next thing is that they've got that to do, right? Season 1, it seems like, was all about them getting out of the Empire.
Yeah.
Getting away from the Empire, getting out. And by kind of faking their own death at the end of season, spoiler, faking, wait. right? By faking their own death at the end of season 1. And they didn't fake it. It was they were supposed to be dead and they escaped. They're off the radar. Yeah. So now season 2 seems like, okay, this is all about clearing our debt and getting our freedom. And she mentions that.
Yeah.
She goes, with this, you could be free. And he's like, we are free. She goes, really? Because you're still working for me to pay me off.
Yeah.
You're not free.
Yeah. And I do like the part where...
And that's what I mean by A plot, B plot. I feel like the what is it? The A plot is like the plot of that week. Yep. And the B plot is the running plot. The running plot is them getting away from being beholden to someone and working for someone else and just being on their own.
Yeah, and they also mentioned too, like it's that part of like there's a lot of the stormtroopers, there's clones. The majority of them are clones, and then now they're starting to realize like there was that one scene in the end, I forget the name of the general. He was like, we're just gonna have to falsify these records. We don't need to tell Palpatine that these freaking guys are out.
He goes, I can falsify records. He goes, no, but I can.
Yep. So they're starting to realize like, hey, maybe these clones are a little bit too. So now the people in the Bad Batch, I think it's Echo, who's like, we got to save our brothers.
Yeah.
Like, our brothers, they're still chipped. Like, we got to save these guys.
You think one of the main plots is because I watched the thing where they talked about the fact that like they're not killing troopers.
Yeah.
They're not killing clone troopers. They stun them.
Yep.
And leave them alive. So do you think what we're going to see is a plot where it's not just them getting their freedom from owing anybody, it's them freeing the rest of the clone troopers from the Empire?
I think that would be the way for that. I think that I'm hoping that's
well, because they're showing that the clone troopers, it was like, I don't know who said it in the show, but maybe it was the Wanda Sykes character who was like, or somebody, they were like, wait, so you were clone soldiers for the Republic who wound up destroying those people to work for the Empire, and now the Empire is replacing you with somebody else now.
Yeah.
You were Republic soldiers, replaced it was like this whole, like, it was kind of mind-blowing because it's like, well, yeah. And they're like cannon fodder now. It's like, send the clones out first and let them get destroyed.
Yep.
Because we need to get rid of them anyway.
Yeah, yeah. And I think they're starting to realize that where, because, clones at the time made sense. And they're also, when you look at the timeline and you're like, okay, so we went from clones to A New Hope with stormtroopers where they weren't like, we don't know if they were clones or they just got, and obviously they're the sequel trilogy where it was just like just hired, they grabbed kids at birth and decided like, we gotta get rid of these clones. They're too like by the book. They age a lot faster, because they
and not only are they the two by the book is like, if we want some moral ambiguity to like do something that isn't really right but gets us where we want to go, they're not going to go along with it because they're letter of the law by the book.
Oh yeah, they're Larry.
And I think that's what that scene where he's like, "Sir, I can't falsify an official report." Yep. And the guy's like, "You don't have to. I will," and kills him. Yep. Spoiler. Like, that's the big realization I think now with the Empire is like, that's why they got to get rid of these. They can't make them subservient because they're like, you can't make me subservient. I was made with a purpose, and I'm going to serve that purpose. Anything beyond that, I can't deviate from. Yeah. Whereas slave kids who are turned into stormtroopers, it's like, look, either you fucking do this or we'll kill you. And they're like, okay, I don't really have a choice. It's either I get to live a little bit longer by doing what you tell me to do, or you're just going to freaking kill me. So I may as well do what you tell me to do and have the chance of living.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's really interesting. Like and
who knew a cartoon would be this deep?
Well, that's what you start to realize with like Rebels and Clone Wars and stuff. When they first came out, I was like, "This is too cartoony." Like, yeah. I struggle with animated movies a lot. Like, even like the DC ones, like the Flashpoints and ones where people are like, "Oh my god, they're so good." I still, for some reason, I feel like a kid watching a cartoon. Where I'm like, this doesn't. But it's been proven a million times that that's not the case.
Well, that's why you need to watch Bluey.
That's what did you like that TikTok?
I love that too. I sent it to my whole family. You should post that on the webpage.
You want to watch some TV? Bluey.
He's got the knife. You want to watch some TV? Bluey.
Run!